Hello everyone, JG here, and welcome to episode 7 of the Blizzard Audiobook series. If you're interested in following along, there's a link to the audiobook in the description. All that being said, let's get started. Act 6. The team goes south. The sun just started to creep across the horizon as Karol opened his eyes. Rex, on the other hand, was already wide awake. He was sitting at the table, and he had a blowtorch in his hand and a strange triangle-shaped object in the other. He was applying some metal to it. "What is that?" Karol asked. "This? Oh, it's just a little project of mine. If only I had the right parts, I could finally finish it," Rex replied. "Did you see my breakfast?" Karol looked toward the side table and saw 2 plates, one with a chili dog and another with a bunch of crumbs. Rex ate it. "Chili dogs? For breakfast? I can't help it. Sonic loves them for some reason. Maybe they provide super speed," Rex said jokingly. Karol smiled, shook his head, and began to eat. As the fox and the panda ate and prepared to leave the inn, the LaPerm woke up. She had to check in with Magnopus. "I've gained their trust. I have a plan that should be even greater than I anticipated, due to the Black Hedgehog's departure."
"Very good,"
Magnopus commented.
"Now what will you do?"
"I'm luring them to your base," Esther replied.
"A trap. I like that idea."
"I'll leave the design of the trap up to you. Just fill me in with the necessary details. Call me frequently."
"How did you manage to trick them?"
"This panda said some goons used so an item called the Malaxum." "Is this true?" Esther asked. Magnopus laughed.
"Ha! So that panda's trying to track me down, eh?"
As he spoke this, far away at his base, the snow leopard, wearing traditional Japanese clothing, gold chains all over his body with intricate black markings all over his fur and long tail with spiky fur at the end, reached into his pocket and held out a dark red stone. "So you do have it."
"I'll get all the hunters together. We'll end that fox, and the world will be mine."
Esther looked at the pillow on the ground. She thought about what Karol did for her last night. She banished the thought from her mind, in fear of distraction or failure from the mission. "And my payment?" Esther asked.
Yeah, you'll get that too."
Then he hung up. Esther sat alone in the cage for about 3 minutes until she heard the door unlock. Karol and Rex had arrived. "Good morning, Esther," Rex greeted. "Time to rise and shine." "I'm already awake," Esther snapped. "Let's go," Karol said. "We have a long journey ahead of us. Lead the way, Esther." Then Karol unlocked the prison cell, and Esther walked out. The sun was midway to his journey to the top of the heavens when Karol, Rex, and Esther left the prison for the bustling village. All the villagers seemed to have forgotten Karol and Shadow's acts towards them, for their heavy work did not allow them to say anything towards them or even make a single gesture. The team made their way to the gates of the town. Once they arrived, they saw Basil standing there. "We are going to get an item that was stolen from Rex, which will be able to end the purple beans for good," Karol said. The lizard looked back and stared at Esther. "With her?" Esther stared back. "She's our only lead," Karol explained. "Oh, okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed your stay here." "We most certainly did," Rex replied. "Thank you for everything." "No problem. Come back anytime," Basil said. Karol, Rex, and Esther then walked out of the village with Esther at the head. "Where is Magnopus' base?" Rex asked. "It's built into a mountain in a mountain range," Esther said. "It should be a 7-day journey on foot." Karol was worried. "How long do we have?" Esther walked slowly through the forest, and Karol and Rex could see the beauty of nature alive in that place. The streets stretched high in the air, and rocks with moss covered the ground. Sometimes they would encounter a stream going through the forest with occasional deer or rabbit going up to the water and drinking from it. The cool spring breeze would pass them as they walked, and birds chirped in the trees. But they had no time to bask in all of the beautiful forest. They had a world to save. Karol noticed how slow they were going, and he asked, "Esther, can we go any faster than this? We have no idea how much more time we have." "I'm going as fast as I can," Esther replied. "It'll be fine, Karol," Rex comforted. "If only I could skate," Karol sighed. "If I could, we could be there in 2 days." Then Rex got an idea. "Esther, could we stop here for a moment? I think I have a way we might be able to go faster," Rex asked. "Sure," Esther replied. They all sat down, and Rex pulled cardboard and string out of his bag. He then folded the cardboard into a box and set it on the ground. Rex then turned to Esther and Karol. "Esther?" When he turned around, Esther was gone. He looked back at the cardboard box, and Esther was already standing in it. Esther stared up at Rex. "That's perfect," Rex said. He looked back at Karol and motioned for him to come over. Rex tied the string around Karol's waist in the cardboard box. Then he grabbed onto the middle of the string behind them. "Okay, Karol," Rex said. "Now we can all skate. Go ahead and start, but go slow. The box is fragile." Karol then started to place ice on the ground and skate. He started slow, but as the sun started to make his descent rest, Karol built up his speed to half his regular speed. They zoomed through the forest, making great progress. Rex was enjoying himself, but he was slipping on the ice. Esther was nervous and trying to keep her box steady. Karol felt the worst of all, for he had to make sure everyone stayed on the ice, and he had to shoot the ice harder for all the rocks and tall grass in the way, for he could not go over or around them. After a few miles of cautious skating through the forest, the team ran into an unavoidable obstacle: a tree. Karol was distracted by trying to keep everyone stable, and Rex was trying to keep himself up on the ice, so Esther was the only one who saw it. She tried to warn them, but it was too late. Rex saw that the danger was unavoidable and jumped out of the box, but Karol and Rex crashed into the tree and fell on the ground. Karol got up and sighed. "That was a good idea, Rex, but we need a quicker and stabler way to skate." Esther then walked over to the two of them. The three of them thought for a while until Rex asked Karol, "How exactly do you skate?" "Back when Shadow trained me, he gave me these retractable ice skates that I apply to the bottom of my shoe. Whenever they detect my feet on ice, they will activate." "Oh, that gives me an idea!" Rex shouted in his genius. Then he took pieces of scrap metal, his blowtorch, a toolbox, wires, and 2 computer chips out of his bag. "I was saving this for my other project," Rex said as he sat on the ground and began to work, "but this is more important. Karol, can I see one of your ice skates?" "Sure." Then he took the skate off his shoe and handed it to Rex. Karol and Esther sat down, and Rex worked until the sun was midway on his journey east. "Ta-da!" he said when he was finished. "These are retractable ice skates for Esther and myself, modeled after Karol's. We will use these to skate together." The skate was like a horseshoe, but for the entirety of one's feet. Rex gave Karol his skate back, and then he applied his skates to the bottom of his shoes. Then he went to give Esther her new shoe. "There is no way," Esther started, but cut herself off. She did not know how to ice skate, and she did not want to be humiliated in front of these people. But then she remembered her mission gathering intel. But she didn't care about this mission, even though she kept telling herself she did. What truly motivated her to try skating was the memory of a beautiful floppy-eared dog with bright pink eyes, filled with compassion, wearing a black skirt and purple sweater, inviting Esther to skate on a frozen lake. "Come on, Esther," the dog said. "What are you waiting for? Take that next step. Get on the ice. Why are you so afraid? I believe in you." But Esther refused. Though she did want to skate, she did not want to be humiliated in front of all the other kids who floated up the lake as she fell over. The dog knew this, so she kept encouraging her. Suddenly, 2 tigers about the age of the dog walked up to Esther and started to make fun of her. "I guess you really are a scaredy cat," the older one said. The other one attempted to push Esther onto the ice, but the dog blocked them. "Why don't you two just mind your own business?" the dog asked. Then there was an exchange of dialogue between them that was a blur for Esther until its ending. "You can protect that cat as long as you like, but someday, justice will be restored." The 2 tigers then skated off onto the lake. Then Esther's thoughts shifted to the floor of them in a dark forest late at night. The older one reached into his pocket, and Esther heard a clicking sound. Then she woke herself from her short daydream by rejecting that thought and shaking her head. "There's no way what?" Karol asked. Rex was standing right in front of Esther with the skates in his hands. "It's nothing," Esther said. Then she stood up, took the skates from Rex, and applied them to her shoes. "Do both of you know how to ice skate?" Karol asked. "I do," Rex said. "Do you know, Esther?" Karol asked. Esther shook her head. "It's easy," Karol said with his eyes of compassion. "I will teach you." Karol then created a miniature ice ring on the ground with his powers. He walked on his ice, and his skates activated. Then he invited Esther on. Esther walked into the ice, and thanks to Rex's brilliance, the skates worked. "It works!" Rex shouted happily. Then he got on the ice as well and performed a few tricks. Karol and Rex then taught Esther how to skate. At first she kept falling over, but Karol always helped her back up. But Esther proved to be a fast learner, and by the time the sun started to sink over the horizon, Esther could skate decently well. Esther greatly enjoyed her training, and Karol proved to be a great teacher. She even smiled a little as she was learning. "All right, Rex," Karol said. "We're ready." Rex moved to the right of Karol, and Esther was on his left. "Here," Rex said. "Take the string I gave you, Karol, and tie the middle around your waist. Then give one side to Esther and the other to me. We will tie it around our waists. That way, we will not fall off the ice or fall far behind." "Good idea," Karol affirmed. They all did as Rex described. "What you guys need to do is try to follow my movement pattern so you don't fall behind or trip over yourselves," Karol said when they were all set up. "I will start slow, and I won't go above the ground in order to make it easier for you." With that, Karol began to skate and place ice down, with Esther and Rex being pulled along with him. This time, the 3 were able to keep their balance well, and Karol was able to move around rocks and trees fairly easily. The rope was keeping them together. Then, Karol started to move faster. The 2 caught on to this and adapted. Rex was enjoying this greatly, but Esther remained serious, yet appreciative of the minds of Karol and Rex. "The mountain range is up ahead," she said. "This chicken forest saved us 2 whole days' worth of walking." "Mountain range?" Rex shouted. "How will we get over that?" Karol thought to himself as he skated. He had no idea how he could get himself, Rex, and Esther over the mountains without sliding back down and meeting a cruel end. Then he remembered what Shadow said about the skates. "They have a tendency to stick onto ice. They'll only get off the ice if you will." "Your will is exactly like mine, right?" Karol asked. "Yeah," Rex answered. "Then yours, like mine, can stick to ice," Karol replied. "They will not come off the ice unless you will." "How will we get enough momentum to get over the mountains?" "We'll have to gain it now," Karol said, determined. Then he increased his speed to the fullest. He was now zooming above the ground, doing everything he could to gain speed. Rex and Esther felt a great, exhilarating speed, like the feeling of an intense roller coaster. Rex was nervous, but Esther loved it. She had never gone this fast in her life. She ran entirely by her evil mission or her wicked wife as a bounty hunter. All that was on her mind was this awesome speed. She even smiled. Then they arrived at the mountains. Karol was going full speed above all the rocks and trees. As he placed and skated upward, almost to the peak, it looked as if they would not make it. Then Esther used her gauntlets to lift everyone upward above the peak as Karol placed more ice around it downwards. Then they were set down on the ice around the peak and skated downward, like a great roller coaster dropped. All 3 of them yelled and laughed as they fell. Karol used his great momentum to skate all around through the mountain range. So your powers affect more people than one at a time, huh? Karol asked Esther, yelling through the wind, blowing through their fur, blocking almost all sound. Yeah, they do, Esther replied. They affect all who are near me. That's cool, Rex replied. Esther smiled. The three of them skated around all the mountains and over all the rocks and snow that would have hindered them greatly if they were on the ground. Karol felt proud that he was able to teach them to skate like he did. I did learn from the best, after all, Karol thought. Karol noticed that the wind turned to a cool night breeze and that the sun had finally completed its journey, on which the moon had just begun. Karol remembered what Shadow said. It's not safe for an ordinary person to be on a journey at night these days. So he began to look for a place to stop. Finally, he noticed a small cave in one of the mountains. He let his eyes trail there, with Rex and Esther following, and the three of them landed safely in the opening.